I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We do have a quorum for tonight's meeting. All council members and the mayor are in attendance. Thank you so much. I will open the floor for any citizens' comments. If none, we will move on directly to item 1A, consideration action to approve award of the engineering services contract for the preparation of the city's 2023-2024 Texas Community Development Block Grant, Community Development Program Fund application, and subsequent engineering contract if funded. I'll hand it over to, our finance director.
Good evening. So this first agenda item is for the grant that is opening for CDBG for infrastructure. It can be for any water, wastewater, or drainage. We're not deciding what we are doing, what type of infrastructure. Once we approve the engineer, we will meet with them to decide how we will use this. It's for $500,000. There is a short deadline. That's why I asked for this meeting. It is due by April 3rd. And I didn't know if you all had any questions or anything. We did have 8 applicants for the engineering services. After a lengthy review, there were 4 of us that reviewed it. Took over 3.5 hours for us to review this. We are requesting or recommending that you approve 6S engineering for this engineering service.
Okay. And that's $500,000 that you're looking to apply for, right?
Correct, yes.
And also,
There is a 20% match.
okay. And then you said water and wastewater. Is any of it going to? Does that include like the pipes for the sewage?
It can be whatever we decide for it to be, however we want to use it. We will meet with engineers, let them know what projects we're looking at, and see what the best option is for that money to be spent.
How about the streets? Could we use it for streets or not?
Drainage.
Just drainage, not the.
Mayor, if I may speak,
Yes, sir.
as a finance director talked about, she handled this project for this grant application. Once an engineer is selected, that engineer will sit with city staff. And one of the biggest things that we will put in front of that engineer is the 3-year capital improvement plan that was presented to the council, where the certificate of obligation money was allocated for, and then incorporate that into the project. Once those projects are incorporated as a whole, for the next couple of meetings or the next couple of months, I will be bringing all those projects forth to the city council for your review and possible approval, or you redirecting us in a different direction. But all of that, this specifically will be allocated in coordination with those funds that we have already.
I know that all of them were very well qualified. Can y'all tell us a little bit about why you recommended 6S? A little bit more than the others?
Okay. Well, for 6S, what stood out was just the amount of projects they've done that are federally funded. There is a lot of paperwork, a lot of time it does take. If we don't choose a qualified engineering firm that is familiar with all the paperwork, it would fall back on the city to complete. So that was number 1. But also just references and the work that the city is actually has seen from this particular engineer. Okay. I don't know if you all want to add anything.
Mayor, I'll give my 2 cents as I was one of the raters. So going off of the answers to the RFP packets, RFPs are very lengthy in process, and so going mostly off of those, whether or not they are meeting those qualifications of answering those questions. And I did ask Cindy if the engineers were not to complete all the paperwork. Not that I don't have faith in the city, but I feel like that's one of the responsibilities of the engineering company, is to provide that information, because they plainly say it in their packets that they will be doing that. So that was one of them, and also the types of projects. So the recommendations are specific to the types of projects that they were responding to. For the rest of the council to know, some of them did apply to both projects, and some of them did have examples of their work specific to sidewalks or specific to certain water, wastewater, or drainage projects. So that was also taken into consideration with the ratings.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions by council?
I have one more comment before Mayor. On this particular application, the raters were Councilwoman Marisa Jimenez, Safety Officer, Code Compliance, Dino Cantu, Inspector Lau M., and City Finance Director Cynthia Stern. One of the things that these applications require are to have at least one elected official on there. Councilwoman Marisa Jimenez at the last application we said asked that she be considered to sit on the committee, which the finance director and I agreed. She placed a call, she was available. And for future, we will ask other council members to see if they're interested. I've sat in on a couple, and as Councilwoman Jimenez can tell you, they are detailed and lengthy, so it takes for you to have pretty much a full day, if not two. That's what it took on this one, I believe. That's all I have.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you.
And I would like to hear from Dino Lyle on what prompted you to make your determination as well.
Well, as was stated before, one, having seen the work that's by this company for us, that was one. When you go through their forms, their information, you get to look at the work that they've done historically from around the region and the area, and they have a lot of work in this area, and they've done this type of work before, and they did include it in their packet. Not everyone did. This certain one did include that, so it meant something to me that somebody sat down, looked at what we're asking for, and then gave us the information we needed. Because some people just threw a lot of information at us and kind of covered a whole bunch of things, but didn't cover what we were looking for specifically. But for me, those are the main reasons why.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Lyle?
I think the main reason is because of past performance with the city. He really protects the city and what they do. He sticks up for them. When they got another engineer trying to do something wacky, he called them out on it.
Very nice.
He crosses his T's and dots his I's. He's very good.
Yes, ma'am.
And also y'all checked out the references, correct?
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other comments?
Well, I went through a lot of these paperwork and I was very satisfied with success, so good choice.
Thank you.
Okay, I will open the floor for a motion.
I move to approve an award of the engineering service contract for the preparation of the city's 2023-2024 Texas Community Development Block Grant, Community Development Program Fund application, and subsequent engineering contract if funded to 6F.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Rowland. Any citizens' comments? If none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Item approved, 5-0. Thank you. Moving on to item 1B, consideration and action to approve award of the engineering services contract for the preparation of the city's 2023-2024 Texas Community Development Block Grant, Downtown Revitalization Program Fund application, and subsequent engineering contract if needed. Finance Director again, Mrs. Sturm.
Yes, this is for the downtown sidewalk project. We have gone off this one other time, but we were not granted the grant. So it's coming back around. We did have 4 applicants. Out of the 4, we are recommending Garcia and Wright Consulting Engineers. This will be a new engineering firm to the city. I did reach out to their references and they come highly recommended. One city's worked with them with over 40 years. It's a father and son firm. They said they work in the best interest of the city. Another highly recommended, they deliver on every aspect of the job, beyond the call of duty, and very professional.
Mayor, just for the record, just as Ms. Sherman has done an excellent job on these. Garcia and Wright worked for the city like many, many years ago.
Oh,
This was
okay.
during the Gary Pellet days, he was our city manager, so there is some documents that I've seen that have Garcia and Wright. So just for clarification.
And I was in the evaluation.
Yes, so on that evaluation, it was the mayor, Councilwoman Jimenez, Dino Campu, and myself.
Any questions by council?
No, I have to say that TRC and Garcia and Wright were very close.
Same for us.
Very close.
Same.
So,
Yes. Any other comments by council?
And this mainly depends, we'll deal with the city sidewalks.
Correct, it'll be in front of Big Man's and then down towards the right across from Fluffs that way.
Okay.
And just for the councilwoman's information, some of these council members have sat on this. This was a project that's been going on for a number of years. The first phase was completed. Like Ms. Sturm said, we did apply the first year I was here, but we did not receive that grant portion. The plans have been approved by the city council, and it's just a matter of getting this funding to keep the project going. So very, very worthy project. We found out that during the discussion of reapplying last year, the funds were limited in many areas. So if you received funds at one time, they were giving other cities an opportunity. This year, from what we gathered and discussing with them, there's a surplus of funds that they're looking at projects to do. So we've been working on this pretty hard. So hopefully
Yes.
we can continue the work that you all have already planned in the past.
Madam Mayor, and also for the ones that are not aware of it, this will be phase 2 of 9.
Yes.
Any other comments or questions by council? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve award of the engineering service contract for the preparation of the city's 2023-2024 Texas Community Development Block Grant downtown to the program fund application and subsequent engineering contract if funded. To Garcia and Wright.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded. Any citizens' comments? If none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Item passes 5-0. Thank you so much. Thank you, council, for being available on this special meeting for tonight. We do not have any further business on this agenda, so this meeting is now concluded at 5:45. Thank you.
Thank you very much.